Hello. This is RJ said. Welcome. I am playing BioShock for the third time. And we're gonna continue where we left off. Looks like it was Neptune's Bounty. So, what I'm going to do is load this in. Now, I don't know about a whole lot, but I do know that this type of game is quite fun, especially in the dark. Especially in the dark. So we're just going to make sure that, see, brightness. There. Just lowering the brightness a bit. Not that it seems to change much. Where did my guns go? Oh yes, I had to let them go for now I remember.
Getting out of my swamp! Scrap with Peachy! Don't turn your back to Peachy!
an auto hack. Yeah. I'm not stuck, dear. I'm just dealing with some issues here. There we go. Come on. God damn it. Start hacking. I got nobody to help me. Nobody. I'm so sad and lonely. Sad and lonely. Sad and lonely. Oh, I got nobody. Nobody to help. Nobody. I'm so sad and lonely. Got nobody, nobody to help me, nobody to help me. I'm so sad and lonely, sad and crazy. Let's start hacking, shall we? Do, dum, 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 dum.
Welcome to the circus of value.
Welcome to the circus of value.
Come back when you get some money, buddy.
Well, maybe I would.
Feel your cravings at the circus of value.
You had something better. There we go.
You'll not take her from me! Find a better hiding spot.
Are you sure you're just not gonna do it? Yeah. Searching, searching. Another hack tool. Wow. That was so worth coming in here. Totally. Not. Move it, you piece of crap. There we go. There we go. Huh? There it is. There it is. Yes, So if you're not going to actually do anything... Let's see. Just a pistol. Nothing. Oh, come on.
You can't quit. Fontaine, fight. Hey, fuck Fontaine. You don't fuck Fontaine. Fontaine fucks you.
More director's commentary. Shall we watch it? I think we shall. And as you probably know by now, when I do these, I mute myself so we can listen perfectly clear.
One of the biggest challenges Irrational faced when developing BioShock was figuring out a way to retain the feeling of a deep RPG while making the game accessible to a broader console audience. Ultimately, the team succeeded in creating an intricate system of weapon and character upgrades that gave the player choice and customization while keeping the gameplay fast, lean, and engaging. One of the hallmarks of BioShock, to me at least, was that it really blended RPG and sort of first-person action game together in a way that, you know, is sort of standard today, but a decade ago was really pretty revolutionary. And I know for the team, I think at some point it became clear that you wanted this to work on consoles, not on PC, right?
Well, both, yeah.
Yeah. But so the idea of, you know, doing a console game and a PC game, and doing something that sort of felt like a shooter but had much more depth. And I know in some of the early design docs you talked about sort of creating an FPS plus versus an RPG light. What was the difference in your mind between those two?
I think for us, is the big difference between System Shock and BioShock ended up being that System Shock was more about your character growth and BioShock was more about the environment. Because with System Shock, we really didn't have System Shock 2. We didn't really have either our team to make enough assets or the visual power to sort of make a really convincing environment. But as we started working on BioShock, the art team was so strong that the ability to tell a story within the environment became the most important thing about the game. And that was sort of not something we thought right at the beginning. That was not really a concept we had. But as we started building things, we could realize that the visual world was the star of this thing. The Rapture was really the star of this thing. And telling the story outside of cutscenes, telling it in the world, so the gamer could discover the story rather than us telling him the story, telling him or her the story. And it was still very much for the time, I think for the time, quite different than what you had seen in terms of there wasn't a lot of growth in shooters. So It was still, I think, for the time, very, very revolutionary. But I think System Shock 2 was even more ahead of its time in terms of that growth thing, because we defocused a little bit. Primarily, part of it was just figuring out how to do that all on a console controller was very tricky.
No, I remember even the early demos, and people like, you know, you see a plasma, you see like a upgraded weapon, people are like, oh, I've never seen that before in a shooter. And that was, you know, when you were coming out of the sort of, you know, the Quake, Doom, Half-Life, where it's like you have, you know, 8 weapons on the keyboard, and you sort of knew what they were, and they weren't going to change. Yeah. Sean, was that something that, you know, from a sort of creative standpoint, was it always clear that that was something you guys wanted to do, or it evolved over time because you wanted to have more depth in the game?
I mean, it certainly evolved over time, and each, you know, upgrade path was slightly, had its own unique challenges. Like certainly upgrading the weapons, you had to design a base weapon that didn't feel like crap, still felt like something that you wanted to use, but then the ability to add the upgrades to that, and each of the upgrades can come in any order, so you have to be aware that this, parts A, B, and C could come in at any different time to upgrade the weapon. In a first-person shooter, that's your star. That's the thing that you're seeing all the time. When it comes to other things, plasmids, things that are,
Tonics.
Tonics, yes, sorry. It's been a while.
Come on, Sean.
I know, it's 10 years. Those things were more offloaded to machines that you would then have to interact with, so you're not carrying the inventory around with you. But each of these decisions on how we're going to upgrade the player, it wasn't like a mouse and keyboard. Okay, we can just use the mouse, and you have all these buttons at your disposal.
You could arbitrarily point at a part of the screen really easily, which you could do in System Shock too.
Yeah, so we certainly learned trial by fire when we were trying to adapt these things to the console at the time.
Yeah, and like having different ammo types and stuff like that. Like we went through numerous iterations of the interface to make it. Like we had the first times we sort of put the interface into play. It was very obtuse and very tricky to get your head around, and we just kept working on it and working on it and working on it because you want to feel like second nature. But we spent a lot of time on that.
What motivated the idea of having so much choice in the way you could sort of play through this game? What was it to give the player a better sense of authorship over the experience, or what was driving that?
I've always liked the idea of giving the player a lot of agency in terms of their play style and experimenting with the play style and trying different things and seeing what worked and didn't work and interacting with the environment. The notion that it's sort of a playground that you get to play around with and imprint your own desire on was great, because I think we were more skeptical about being able to do that with story at the time. In fact, so much to the point where that became almost like a joke. That becomes the meta joke of the game, of how little agency you have in your story. But agency in terms of how you play the experience and how you load out your weapons and how you interact with the environment, as compared to most shooters at the time, where basically like you can shoot them with a shotgun or shoot them with the the pistol. That was really important to us. So we spent a lot of time trying to make the world react in a way that you would expect and hope it to react when you tried something.
Right. And some of those system or decisions we made about systems fed back into the narrative, like locking Adam behind Big Daddy and the little sister. Like you can't get Adam unless you deal with the Big Daddy, which then becomes a roving boss fight, which then becomes another system that I don't know if we planned that from the start or was one of those happy, serendipity, like, oh, this decision that we made about putting Adam behind the Big Daddy totally works because now we have a different type of boss fight that you hadn't really seen in other games.
Actually, it was bad. It was the other way, because what happened was originally there was no concept of Adam, and Big Daddy just had money and other treasure on them, like every other splicer. Yeah. And they were so tough, nobody would ever fight them, because why on earth would you go after that guy?
Right, go off a bunch of small splicers and get the same amount, yeah.
So we had to come up with a currency that was exclusive to them, because we knew that was where the fun was, right? But we also knew people were terrified of them and we didn't want to fight them. Yeah. So video game development and system development is a lot like economics, right? In economics, you try to encourage certain behaviors through tax, usually through tax policy. You want business growth, so you lower taxes on certain segments of the business economy, or you want to encourage, people to move into this area, so you make incentives to move in here. We had to make an incentive for players to fight the Big Daddy, and Adam became that incentive. And then once you had this Adam, then you had a new piece of narrative, which they could then incorporate back into the story.
Yeah. An old tasty Adam fucking drink.
Stay away from her, or it is you who will be shot next.
Easy now, Doctor. He's just looking for a wee bit of Adam. Just enough to get by.
I'll not have him hurt my little ones.
Talk a bit about the plasmids and the vending machines and that sort of whole approach to, I guess, what is kind of a tech tree, but, and coming from PC games, used to strategy games and whatnot with very complicated ways of how you would upgrade things. I thought you guys did a really interesting approach to how you made it very accessible to a console audience. How did that evolve? Did you know the vending machines were going to be there from the get-go?
Well, we had vending machines in System Shock 2, so we were sort of lifting that, and I always thought that was a fun notion because it's a affordance that people already understand. They see a vending machine, they know immediately, oh, that's where I buy stuff, right? Yeah. And you also then have to have a shopkeep. When we talked about wanting to make things, put limitations on ourselves so things felt fully believable. Yeah. if we had a shopkeeper sitting there, you can't shoot him. He sits there, he doesn't say anything. And all of a sudden he feels fake. Where a vending machine, the Circus of Values machine, can feel 100% authentic, despite the fact that it's selling like ammo and stuff like that, which is,
But in an objectivist society where you don't have rules and regulations on
You
that
have
type of
that.
thing, it feeds back into the narrative.
But you don't then break the fiction at all by having these characters who sort of don't really live and breathe in the world. So the vending machines became an important part of that. But we still want to give them character, and hence and so that clown image came from a piece of that image is actually from like a fruit container or something from like the 1940s.
Okay.
And so we had a book of like royalty-free images, and I saw that image, and I'm like, let's put that clown on, and we'll call it Circus of Values, and then we wrote some lines for it, decided he'd be this sort of asshole clown, and then we hired the best actor in the world to play that part. That was me. My biggest Avengers, I didn't cost anything.
I didn't know you were really.
I was a clown. I was a clown.
I hear it in my head every day.
My wife hates that voice. She hates that voice.
You can give us a little of it right here.
Welcome to the Circus of Values. She does not allow me to do that, so I do it outside of the house.
Okay.
But it allowed us to have something that felt very rich and very real, while being very limited at the same time.
Feel your cravings at the Circus of Values.
And also, the plasmids and sort of the motif of sort of the videos and how you explain sort of what a plasmid was. That was a really fun way, I thought, to sort of explain that. Sean, how did you guys evolve that? Because it was a very artistic approach.
I think those came on pretty late too, because we were developing all these systems, and you make the assumptions because you're dealing with them every day that the player who gets this game is going to understand what these systems are. And we always joke that you can't ship a developer with a game, or you can't expect somebody to have a README file for all of these things. Nobody's understanding what these plasmids are or how to use them. How do we present these to the audience in such a way that they're going to understand what it is fictionally and what it is functionally? Because Rob Waters did a lot of the animations on those, and we sit down and we write out like a little 30-second commercial of what this thing is. And again, because going back to the narrative, this is what would happen in Rapture. People are trying to sell these things, so they would come up with commercials to explain why you need this. Using that as your framework, you can then come up with all of these little gags that people will remember, that have a little personality to them. But I think ultimately in the end weren't that expensive to create, because they're cheap.
I think one of the most important things about it is we didn't want them to be long, and we didn't have a lot of budget for the art, so we have like a couple of frames of animation in them essentially. And so we had to figure out, how do we message how this thing works in like that? And that's what marketing is, right? It's how do you message how something works? And marketing and tutorializing are very similar things, right? You're trying to get a message across in a very brief period of time in a very snappy fashion. And I think that one of the things that I always felt about games is that tutorials are sort of death. And because they're usually like, you go into a scene and there's like a shooting range or something like that, and
narratively they never really make sense either,
and they're so boring. And so we always try to put a big burden on ourselves of how do we train people while not letting them know they're being trained, and brevity is really important to that. So we had a bunch of art constraints on that, which also led to a bunch of writing constraints, and so those things were like, I don't even know if they were 30 seconds.
Yeah, they were
really short. Yeah, like 15 seconds long. We had to explain a whole plasmid in that period of time, and I think that was a good exercise because it also made the game, it forced us to be concise and to really explain what this thing was like that.
Throw objects at foes. You can even catch grenades and throw them back.
Well, that was an interesting show, wasn't it? But we have a few things to deal with, don't we? Before I start going in that direction. Why are you telling me to use up all my mistake? Dumb thing. Yeah, that looks painful.
Fontaine's putting the screws on us, and double. He's squeezing us out of 80 points of our cut with the threat of turning us into Ryan if we don't play ball. Son of a bitch. Sammy G comes and tells me he's thinking of going to the constable. And the next day, Sammy G was found in a sack in a salt pond. We got no choice here. We stay on Fontaine's crew and we're gonna catch the gallows. We take powder. We end up like Sammy G. Oh, there's gotta be another way.
There's always another way. Find Fontaine and kill him. Somewhere. Whoosh. Yeah. Well, he's gonna hurt. Ouch. Let's do this. Beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me. My lover stands on golden sand and watches the ships that go sailing. What do you mean I can't carry anymore? There we go. There we go. A weapon upgrade machine. Let's see. What can we upgrade? Pistol clip size. Accelerator. Weapon damage. Kickback reduction. Fire rate. Damage. Let's get rid of that. Closed weapon upgrade. Now here we go.
You got it! Should be smooth sailing from here. I'll meet you up ahead.
Should be smooth sailing lines. What I'm gonna end up doing is seeing you use your false moniker, showing me what it means to be an ass. No. Don't be doing such things. There we go. There we go. Interesting. Flipping crosses. Yep.
We're right outside the submarine eBay, but I can't get in. I'll need you for that. My family can't be more than 100 yards away.
Yea, yea, so you say. But one of you has betrayed me 3 times this day. Welcome to the circus of value. Oh, goody. Cigarettes. Exactly what I needed.
We all come down here. Figured we all be part of Ryan's great chain. Turns out Ryan's chain is made of gold, and ours are the sort with the big iron ball around your ankle. He's up in Fort Frolic banging fashion models. We're down in this dump yanking guts out of fish. Fontaine's promising something better. He's like one of us, you know? Like he's worked a day in his life. He says meet him at his fish packing joint at 11. I'll go, bring a couple of guys. Hey, it's not like things could get a lot worse.
That's what happens when you dare to dream. Dare to dream of things far greater than yourself. Nice.
Hit the switch up there in the control booth and let me in. I think it's time to shake hands and get acquainted.
I think it is time.
You had your fun, but enough is enough. If you press that button, you'll learn what it means to truly be my enemy.
Uh-huh. You know, from what I can tell already, there's clearly no one inside of that damn contraption. Yes. Control panel. Yes, let's see it. Let's see it.
You blow a fuse up there? Can't see a damn thing in that booth. Give me a tick and I'll get you out of there. Moira, can you hear me in there, darling?
Of course she can't hear you.
So dark in here. If only your friend could look up and see. Maybe. If only you could do something, anything. Except just stand here and watch him die.
They're everywhere! I can't hold them! Got to fall back! Get me family out, and we'll regroup as soon as we can!
There we go.
Listen to me! I'm just lonely. I'm lonely. Hey, I will.
I can tell that you're lonely.
Get out if you can! Get out, we'll regroup!
There we go.
Spend the morning jawing with that crowd scientist. She's damaged goods, alright. Just like all those chumps they scraped out of them prison camps. But she's no crackpot. She's gonna make me the kind of scratch that'll have Ryan look like he's running a paper route. She just needs some supplies to get the ball rolling and a friend to watch her back.
You won't let me jump. I see, I see. You're forcing me to go this way.
You ooze in like an assassin, and then you try to sneak out like a thief. You're no CIA spook. Who are you? Why have you come here? There's two ways to deal with a mystery. Uncover it, or eliminate it.
Clearly there's no one in the boat. And Mr. Fontaine was trying to escape.
Get out and get to Arcadia! Jesus Christ!
Jesus Christ. Get out. Get out. I want down. I want down. There we go. Well. If it won't let me, then I will get this way. I'm dumb. But that's okay. I already knew that. Let's find out.
Moira. Patrick. Ain't that just like Ryan? Waits until we're almost out and then he pulls the string. We'll find the bastard. We'll find him and we'll tear his heart out.
I came to this place to build the impossible. You came to rob what you could never build. A Hun, gaping at the gates of Rome. Even the air you breathe is sponged from my account. Well, indeed. So later you might remember the taste.
You get to the bathysphere in the rolling hills. That'll take you straight to the devil himself. And then all debts will be paid in full.
The Great Chain. What? Something ate me. Liquid nitrogen. Oh, sorry, dear. I needed that. Don't really care about this bathysphere so much. Getting drunk. Yeah. That didn't last long.
Seems like some poor blighters have started seeing ghosts. Ghosts! Ryan tells me it's a side effect of this plasmid business. One poor sod's memory is getting passed on to another through genetic sampling. Leaks. Lunatics. Rebellion. And now, bleeding ghosts. Ain't life in Rapture grand?
Tea garden.
Hey, can you help me, man? Can you help me out? Hey, can you help me, man? Everywhere! Can you help me out?
Gotcha. That's what you get for sneaking up on me. I wish I could put that on. That'd be so nice. Yes. Yes.
Hey, over here!
I will have you know that I am a pyro. And I will burn you. I don't care, I'm gonna go run. You're not fun.
The augmentation procedure is a success. The slugs alone could not provide enough atom for serious work, but combined with the host, now we have something. The slug is embedded in the lining of the host's stomach, and after the host feeds, we induce regurgitation. And then we have 20, 30 times yield of usable atom. The problem now is their shortage of hosts. Fontaine says patience, Thunderbolt. Soon, the first home for little sisters will open, and that problem will be solved.
What a night I got lined up. Everything's ready. Flowers, bottle of wine, even 2 tickets to the tea garden. Nothing gets the Bettys in the mood like nighttime in Arcadia. Now I just gotta stop by the Thrifty Care to pick up a med hypo, just to be safe. Word is, this ain't Angelina's first visit to the tea garden.
Word is, I need to set the world on fire. I don't want to set the world on fire. Oh, look at that. Chlorophyll. Lacking chlorophyll. Clucking chlorophyll.
Today, Arcadia was closed off to all but paying customers. The man hires me to build a forest at the bottom of the ocean and then turns a walk in the woods into a luxury. Ryan asked, should a farmer not be able to sell his food? Is a potter not entitled to a profit from his pots? I started to argue with the man, and then I remembered who signed my checks. The only thing worse than a hypocrite is an unemployed one.
That is true. That is true. An unemployed hypocrite is pretty bad. When searching containers or corpses, you can search again to get different loot. Okay, I forget that. Not necessarily the greatest thing, but... And you're empty this time. Well, well. Guess there wasn't any point.
Standards! Clean the troubled ties!
This is quite incredible.
Bring a picnic lunch and we'll make a day of it. I just adore the summertime.
Welcome to the Circus of Values. Looks like I'm getting napalm. Apparently, the Metro employees only, eh?
Oh, you shit!
Oh. There we go. Much better.
It's just a bad quarter. No, that's all. Yeah, Mark will come back, huh? Yeah, everything will be fine. Yeah, it'll all be fine.
You're all pretty crazy, aren't you? Give me audio. Really? Anti-personnel round. Sorry, Boreal. But I can't have you be wandering. Can I? Who is Atlas? Well, I'll tell you. Atlas is a dick. He didn't have any wife or child. He's just Joker. The kind of man who, you know, lie about a lot of things. Just so he could get what he wanted.
He's terribly funny, but his wife has become They're coming!
This is our place! Ours!
Okay. Well, you can have it. I don't want it.
Outstretched hands. They're a tuneful people, I'll grant you, but slowly.
this again, shall we? Okey-dokey. Scheiße. Well, well, well. Looks like there's no way to do it. So we're just going to do that instead. Armor piercing. Explosive buckshot. Let's do one of those and one of those. I got one. Woo! That sure got me.
What is that hanger on?
Nabbit. Ah, dang it. I nearly had you, bastard.
No! 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 No!
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Even in the gathering dark, you light a
You
candle.
saved me.
You have saved the little ones when you might have shown your cruelty. I am sending something your way to demonstrate our thanks.
At the Gatherer's Garden. Save Cracker.
Oh, I'm ready for dream time, Mr. Bubbles.
Yes, Mr. Bubble. Plasmid slot. Increased powers and more slots allow you to store them. Okay, physical tonic slot. Engineering tonic. Yup. Combat. Come on. A health upgrade. Top dummy. Human Inferno. Less damage from fire and inflict more damage when you use fire. Okay. Door. Yeah. Indeed. There it is. Notes. Security systems. JKL.
Today, Arcadia was closed off to all but paying customers. The man hires me to build a forest at the bottom of the ocean and then turns a walk in the woods into a luxury. Riot asked, should a farmer not be able to sell his food? Is a potter not entitled to a profit from his pots? I started to argue with the man, and then I remembered who signed my checks. The only thing worse than a hypocrite is an unemployed one.
Use less. Reduce prices in vending machines. Shorten alarms. Machine blaster. I like that one. Yeah. Use me. I like these symbols. But what do they mean? I do not know. I want to kill some. I want to. Will you not give me the chance?
Too introverted for anyone to know. Go away! Living for today.
Do, 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 do.
Picnic lunch will make a day of it. I just adore the summertime.
I hear you, but I do not see you.
There has been tremendous pressure to regulate this plasmid business. There have been side effects, blindness, insanity, death. But what use is our ideology if it is not tested? The market does not respond like an infant, shrieking at the first sign of displeasure. The market is patient, and we must be too.
There we go. Gregory, don't come whining to me about market forces, and don't expect me to punish citizens for showing a little initiative. If you don't like what Fontaine is doing, well, I suggest you find a way to offer a better product. You don't like what Fontaine is doing? Well, you know, I don't like what Fontaine is doing either. Not at all.
I know about the lockdown. It's absurd. Just give me a minute. Early Lazarus tests are very promising. If the Rosa Gallica bloom, then by God, I know we're in business.
Hurry, the lockdown!
All right, I'm leaving. But somebody has to find a way to come back to check on these samples. They're very important.
These are lovely roses. Very. Oh, dad. Nabbit. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Bum-bum-bum-bum. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum. Hello. Oh. Thank you. Thank you indeed. I'm Jose Jalapeno. Two fewer overload tiles when hacking. Hacker's Delight. Whenever you hack something. Extra nutrition. Scrounger. Search again. Delight. Expert. Yep. Range security bullseye. It's hit by this. Time. Okay. That is more fun. Poor kitty. Poor kitty. Let's give you a funeral.
I couldn't believe how much things had changed since I left Dr. Simon's office. It's like I don't even recognize Rapture no more. I hear they've been rounding up people in Paula Square. I asked Ryan how could he do such things to innocents. He said, innocents. They haven't chosen to defend Rapture, they've chosen to side with Atlas and his bandits. So there are no innocents. There are heroes, and there are criminals.
There we go. There's always tomorrow. Always here. Well, I remember the rest of that song. Kerosene. Oh. Subject is dead. Now vulnerable to anti-personnel rounds. That's what I thought. Sorry. I don't care about the metro station. You know what I care about? Loot. Is there any loot here? Remember, a smart splicer is a happy splicer. And there we go. Hold down.
Welcome to the
Circus of Value. You know, I'm quite a short guy.
You might hear things about me, see my name about, think what you will. There was a time I cared about politics, but it's just an excuse men use to kill one another. I'm done with all that. just want to see the sunlight again.
Who was that? Nurse? Are you there? The nurse doesn't like you, but I do. Don't worry.
The most. I guess it was just the wind. Of all death. Or was it a dream?
Ooh, got him from the back. Thuggish.
Oh, sneezing. I can see death floating in the air.
Little sister.
Hurry, hurry, Mr. Bubbles.
Ooh, a bee. Multiple subjects.
I'll go there soon. I don't like it,
I'm the goddamn doctor! Typical behavior for someone with your Here, I won't hurt you. I just want to see.
Ooh.
What's inside? Is somebody there? Boys,
Poor lighting.
unsanitary! Little big child, help me!
I died again. But look, I'm back with a vengeance.
Remaster, and the bathysphere station is as well. And then straight on to Ryan.
Okey-dokey, artichoke. Boop. Boop. Boop, boop. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, boop. Bo, bo, bo. Ooh, come on, come on. There you are. There we go. Bop. Bop, 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 bop. Bop, 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 bop. Bop, 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 bop. Ba-da, ba-da. Dee-da-doo, da-dee-da. There you go. I'll be gone with you.
No! No!
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Machine Buster.
Must you be?
Come here! Nurse, help me find this patient. Nurse!
I hear you. Let's see.
Turns out there was nothing there. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
On the surface, I once bought a forest. The parasites claimed that the land belonged to God and demanded that I establish a public park there. Why? So the rabble could stand slack-jawed under the canopy and pretend that it was paradise earned. When Congress moved to nationalize my forest, I burnt it to the ground. God did not plant the seeds of this Arcadia. I did.
Oh, good. Tramp. Who are you calling a tramp? I am clearly not. No tramp here. Good. Wap, 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 wap. Oh, right.
Somebody clean this place up. Scrub it down. It's crawling. Crawling!
I don't care if it is infested.
She was having some kind of seizure. And then I realized, trees. Never saw one before. Thought they were monsters. Oh, Sammy. Maybe we never should have come to this place. Yes, but the amount of time that it would actually take for the oxygen to be used up, it would depend on the amount of oxygen we have. Do we have copious amounts? Probably not. But just enough.
Ryan's woman in Arcadia is an old Betty named Langford. An okay sort, but not above doing a dirty job for $1. If she's still kicking around, I'm sure she's gonna want to save her trees. After all, she planted the damn thing. Bienvenido al Amo
Yes, let's hack it. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Eat you. There we go.
Ah, señor. Bienvenido al Modanito. Muchas gracias, señor.
Looks like here's a good spot to save it. Oh, welcome, viewer. You actually have reached me at the end of my, Oh, I have 2 new followers. That's wonderful. It's wonderful. Yes. You've reached me at the end of my stream, sadly to say. And I hope you have a good night. And we shall do this again soon. Good dreams.